You're into this almost $100,000? Holy cow. You got more money sitting right here than I have spent on all of my stuff, cars included. All right guys, welcome back to the channel. On this week's episode, we have one of the nicest toolboxes that I've ever seen. Most matching toolboxes, the Snap-on Master Series. But before we get started, I wanted to give John a few t-shirts from the Basin Nation merch. This is our long sleeve from last year. It's called Stacking Beds. I noticed he was missing his 10 mil in his cabinet, one of my favorites as well. You can grab any of this stuff on our website. We do donate 20% back to students that are going to the Davis Tech Trade School to help them get through the program, get more guys like John out there fixing equipment, fixing trucks. John works on a lot of heavy equipment, a lot of fleet trucks, a lot of Duramaxes mainly, but everything Ford, Chevy, Dodge, Ram, everything. This guy has been fixing it since he graduated high school. We're gonna be looking at his Snap-on Master Series toolbox here. John's put a lot of time and work into this this box, especially making it all match. I've been following him for a long time on TikTok, so I've seen all those. Let's start at the top and go from there, John.
So when my dealer went to the tool show, because I was looking for a toolbox, so I just had a triple bank Craftsman toolbox. He showed me this one next to like a Epic series, and the purple just stood out. So I was like, that's different. That's something that I want. I don't want to do what everybody else does, you know, just a flat color with like black or chrome trim. The air fryer is the most recent one I got. They've been doing like a promo on it. I just want to buy it. I don't want to buy the tools and then get that for free. Luckily, they were able to let me just buy it. And every day since I bought it, that's what I make my lunch with. It's the air fryer. So bought a bunch of frozen food. And
how much was it?
It was like 200 bucks.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a cool air fryer.
With air fryers. And
it's pretty big. Let's see the compartment. This isn't your normal tool that we show on the channel.
But it's cut in half. And then when you turn it on, it has different sections. So you can cook one thing here at one temp, one thing here at a different temp.
I say that's worth 200 bucks.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I love it. And so like I'll cook chicken nuggets one side and then fries on the other. It works out great.
Not chicken nuggets, dino nuggets.
Yeah. The Snap-on mini fridge I actually got off Facebook Marketplace. I was trying to find something cool, like a Monster Energy drink mini fridge or like a Snap-on one. And I drove clear to Ogden, so about an hour away, to pick this up.
And then you wrapped it to match your other stuff. That's cool. Like you said, from a distance, you can't even tell that it's not.
Yeah, I got
like
the wrap off of Amazon. I just winged it. I was like, that looks close enough.
What's your main drawer?
My main drawer would be probably the top drawer to grab one of these sockets. Of course, I have a 10 mil out right now, but I use a lot of my Snap-on extensions there. But I'm not loyal to one brand. Like I try everything out, a little bit of everything. The things I look for is like quality, warranty, and then, yeah, the price. A lot of these are Matco impact sockets. They're ADV series, and they're lifetime warranty as well. They're like $100 sets versus $300. So this is pretty new too. It's probably one of my most used tools is a torque wrench for like tires and stuff. Before this, I just had the regular head. And the reason why I went with like Icon from Harbor Freight is I'm not spending $300 on the torque wrench. This one, it was on sale for like 130 bucks, something like that. And I use this every day.
Well, does it beep at you at anything?
No, it's the electric ones. I don't have any of those because I don't build engines or anything, but this is something I use all the time. I bought the flex head because my coworker had the flex head, and I liked it so much more because you have that little more space away from the tire. Even with the extension, I mean, I use this quite a bit, so that's why I bought this one.
Keeping the nice fancy case too, so you can look at it even though you don't want to get it out.
Yeah,
it's there.
Probably the thing that got me out of a pinch was, instead of modifying like an Allen head, this super stubby hex head, you put a 16 millimeter wrench on this and it makes it so tiny. A lot of these newer trucks, that's what you have to do. There's no space for you to get in, like the transfer cases and then the fill plugs. They're so confined, you can't put a ratchet and like a normal hex head on it. You have to use something tiny. Put it over it, just like that. It makes that profile so small.
Oh, that's nice.
That's what I use it for all the time too. I mean, I don't know why they make things so tight to work in anymore. Probably just easier to take to the dealership. Yeah, these are kind of cool. They're stackable, so just the one set. I have two, but this set underneath is like a wobbly set. It's kind of thinner and it has knurls on it. So when you put a socket on there, just grab a 10 mil, so you can have it wobbly or shove it all the way on there like a normal extension. And these just stack back on each other. Save some space. I'm running pretty low on space.
Is that one printed by the same guy that did your other?
Yeah. Yeah, it's all SJW. He's out of Canada. Right now he's not shipping to the US because of everything going on. So it's
Yeah, I
just
sent a
temporary.
hat to somebody in Canada just for the channel.
Yeah.
Was shout out to anybody that's, you know, commenting. I sent a hat out to a guy in Canada. It cost me $27 to send a like $20 hat.
This is all my 1/2-inch drive stuff. That's another axle nut socket that I bought recently. And these are from Matco. I use these quite a bit for certain things. You can tell which ones I use more of. Just because
Why are
of
they
how,
shallow?
just to get in tight spaces.
Just
like,
the size.
yeah, the pickup trucks, they make anything anymore super tight to work on.
You're not getting one of these big guys in there, that's for sure.
No, definitely not. I bought this singular socket just to do the fuel filters on the Duramaxes because they're a canister filter. You can over tighten them. I found out that like the first time
Crack
I did
it
that.
or
Yeah. But ever since then, I just make sure it's nice and snug.
Yeah.
These are probably one of my favorite. These are the oxygen sensor sockets for like the NOx sensors. So I use this one quite a bit for the NOx1, which is behind the turbo up top on like the SCR. They're a pain to get to regardless. So I use this one the most and this one to get to them because up underneath you got to contort yourself just to get them off. I mean, but these save so much time. This set was pretty cheap. It's a gear wrench set and I've used them a lot. I had no issues with them. I have sockets like this, but they're Craftsman that I've actually needed for like rounding off bolts. These will save you because if you get to a bolt
that's
you
been already rounded off.
Yeah.
This one's good.
So you pretty much hammer them on so they bite into them, and then as you twist it, it bites into them even more. The nice thing is you'll be able to knock the bolt out.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, once you get it in there, how do you get it out?
Yeah, you gotta either have a punch or something to get them out. And you could reuse these because they stay pretty sharp in there for a while.
If anybody's worked on their own stuff, they know well enough how a rounded bolt goes, and that's pretty cool. I've never seen anything like that. I've seen the extractors, obviously, but nothing like that.
Yeah, I have the extractors too, because every once in a while you run into those, you know?
The ones that won't come out.
Yeah. So
people seem to like those.
On the newer GM vehicles, like the 1-ton dualies, they have a special axle nut socket that no tool manufacturer's made. So I come up with this. It's a 1-inch drive socket, and then I just welded a piece of pipe, just tack welded it, and then did some keyways, and I ground them down just to fit those grooves. And still the manufacturers haven't come out with one yet. So I've been waiting, and so this is what I use for the time being, because we go through a lot of brakes here, because people haul trailers and a lot of stuff in the 1-tons. They smoke through the brakes, so every once in a while we got to change a rotor. In order to get the rotor off, you got to pull the whole axle out and everything. So that's what I use. Yeah, this is the go-to, the Icon. Some people have had issues with it. I've had 0 issues with this.
What's the issue that people are having?
Skipping teeth, yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. I've used this every day for probably 3 years. No issues whatsoever. I put quite a bit of oomph on it. And
never warranted, 3
never
years
warranted.
of use?
Never warranted. Like I said, mix of everything, Snap-on, Matco, Craftsman, and then Icon. So it's just like a normal like speed wrench to tear apart things, but it's a ratchet head on it. It's a 1/4-inch drive. Use this for like transmission pans and stuff like that, just to zip them right off. So my toolbox is, I try and keep it pretty organized. Everything
I
has
saw
a
you
place.
just cleaned it.
Yeah, I
on
wiped
TikTok.
it down this morning. Try and dust it off a little bit. Knepex. If you don't pronounce it right, people go crazy, but
Knepex?
yeah.
Knepex?
Knepex.
Knepex.
Yeah, you pronounce the K because it is German.
Knepex.
So,
I'm probably going to say Knepex for my own sanity,
Yeah.
but for those of you out there, it's Knepex.
I use these all the time, and the teeth, they don't slip. A lot of people have problems with teeth slipping, but you put your whole body weight on this and it'll grab. Like, there's nothing that compares to these. I know other manufacturers have tried to duplicate this, but they can't. I got 3 different sizes, and I pretty much use them all for all different types of things just because the teeth on them are so strong. Another tool I use quite a bit, if you can't tell, it's a little dirty, but they're spring clamp pliers. They're from Mac. I like these because they have a wider head on it. So for like your radiator hose, that clamp up top, this is the best one to use because it is wider. You can try and use other things, and then they just end up slipping off.
And those grooves are meant for those like little pieces that...
Yeah, either straight up and down or on the side, whichever way you can get into it. And they also make different variants of them, but I got this one just because it's the widest platform and it works the best. Body trim pliers for getting like door panels off. They have the newer style body trim connectors, whatever you want to call them. They usually get stuck in the door after you pull the door panel off, so these just pop them right out.
You able to reuse them after that, or?
Oh yeah, most of them you can.
Because most of the time I ruin them trying to get them out.
Like on the Jeeps, they break.
Every time.
Every time. Nobody makes like a wire stripper / cripper tool like Snap-on. Mac has tried, Cornwell's tried, but the handles on the Snap-on are probably the best. The only one that compares to this one is the Icon one at Harbor Freight, believe it or not. Same thing with their flush cuts, because pretty much you use your flush cuts for zip ties, and you cut the head off. It's very flush there. That way you're not getting poked or stabbed. Icon also makes the second best one that I've come across.
Those are a really popular tool from the tool tours that we've done.
My biggest thing too is like different variants of body trim tools, just to find ways to get them out easier. So I've got this set of pliers, grabs them, pulls them up, and I have so many different body trim tools. So like the Matco ones here, this was the first generation. Then they came out with a metal one instead of the plastic. So I got that one as well. This one's pretty nice. This one I've used quite a bit. It has the wider head for different applications as well.
Does your tool truck driver ever try to sell you a different color anymore?
No.
Or he knows when he's got something for you?
Yeah, the second they get a tool in that's purple, they definitely show it to me. And they're like, I had to bring it in just to show you. And I'm either like, yeah, let's do it, or I can't.
We'll wait.
Yeah. So like my pry bars, I used to have the red set from Mac, and I traded them in just to get the purple one since they finally came out with the purple as well. I think Snap-on used to have the best purple, but they discontinued it in like 2020.
It's more of a darker.
Yeah, and since then you can't get them. So.
Almost blue. Mm-hmm. What pry bar do you use the most?
It all depends. Like primarily for like brakes and stuff, I use this just because it's easier to get in there.
Short, stubby guy?
Yeah. If I have to really pry on something, I either get this out, which is an adjustable pry bar with a flexible head.
You know you mean business when you get that out?
Oh yeah.
What's the biggest piece of equipment that you're really working on day-to-day basis? Or is it mostly just trucks?
Primarily trucks anymore. Like last week I did a blower motor on a W900 Kenworth. The trucks have became an animal here, so that's all I do anymore is order parts for trucks, get phone calls for repairs, maintenance, and that sort of thing. So I used to work on the equipment, but ever since this company's grown so much, I've primarily fleet. So it sucks to have a wide variety of tools.
Oh yeah, you got a lot of equipment tools here, but you're probably not using a ton of them anymore.
No.
Dang! I think this is the most like just wrenches we've seen in one drawer. Just talk about how much the drawer will actually hold, like as far as weight goes.
They say 250 pounds, but I think they hold way more than that, because like you could lean on it and it's not gonna bend or anything. It'll slide back in and have no issues. And that's another reason why I went with the Snap-on, is just because of how many people talk so highly of them. If I'm gonna buy a nice quality box, I'm gonna buy the best I can get for a reasonable price, obviously. So the ones that I use the most are probably the Craftsman ones, to be honest.
Really?
That's because I can modify them and use them however I need to. I know this one I had to get into a tight space, so I ground down that. Other than that would be like the ratcheting Snap-ons. These ones I use quite a bit anymore. A lot of 16, 17, and then 10 millimeter, of course. I used these yesterday to get into a tight space. They're Blue Point. They go back and forth, so that way you don't have to flip them over. They actually have reverse and forward on there.
Do you find yourself hitting that by accident? Going back?
I did once yesterday.
That's what I always do. I always move it one way or the other, and then I don't never know which way is which.
These are actually pretty nice, the wrench extenders. I got 3 different ones. I use this one a ton.
Is that the one you see on like Tecmo or Fortis HD, or where'd you get that?
Yeah, I got this from a tool truck, a different brand. I can't even pronounce that.
It looks similar though.
Yeah.
Mueller?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna even try the last name. So.
Yeah, I've used this a ton, obviously. And usually anymore it's for like the caliper bracket bolts on the trucks, because from factory they have Loctite on them and they're just stuck on there.
Is that, you think that wrench extender big enough for most of the stuff you use, or do you find yourself reaching for that bigger one?
Yeah, most of the time I grab this one, and then every so often I do grab this. So the bigger one I do use on occasion, but not as frequently as this one.
Is it just adjustable crow's feet, or?
Yeah, pretty much. So you just put like an extension on it.
Yeah.
To get into a space. It's kind of like a pipe wrench almost in a way, if that makes sense. I've used these a couple of times. I mean, tools are nice when you need to use them. The worst thing is like needing a tool and then not having it. And so you have to run around and ask all your other coworkers, hey, do you have this? Can I borrow it? You know? And always the mechanic rule of thumb is borrow it twice, you need to buy it. Sometimes you end up doing that, buying the tool and then never needing it again, sadly. But some more purple, of course. So I recently got these. These are like a Cornwell vessel exclusive, and they're really hard to get. A lot of people are on back order. I had a pretty good rep, was able to find these off another Cornwell truck, and he grabbed them specifically for me. They're awesome. They're JIS, and they have little teeth at the top, so they bite into the screw. Some stuff isn't as organized, but it's all related in one aspect. So I got my Mac air hammer in here. This thing's seen some abuse, working on all different types of stuff. And
How old is it?
It's probably 6 years old or so. Never warranted this one either, and it hits super hard. It hit so hard that it wore out the Mac chuck, so it actually has a snap-on chuck on it. And this one's held up pretty good so far. The Matco drill bits, these are the step bits. I use these a ton too. These are lifetime warranty. I use these all the time. Haven't had any issues with these yet. What I use them for is like I install like your lights around the trucks. And so I install them underneath the tailgate. So it's hard to get those in there without like scuffing up the plastic of the bumper and stuff. So I go at an angle, I drill that way, and these work great. And then here, just a bunch of miscellaneous stuff, a little bit of electrical stuff, trailer plugs, all different types of things. Bottom drawer doesn't have whole lot of stuff, little wire wheels, gloves, some C-clamps, brushes. And then here,
nice
pipe wrenches and hammers.
I don't know why this is always my favorite drawer, but it is.
I've never taken the tags off the Mac hammers, and obviously I've used them. I just never have. I don't know why. So I got this big dead blow. It's a Mac dead blow, and I use this when wheels are stuck and can't get them off. So I hit them on the tire to try and knock them free. And of course, being Utah, stuff likes to get rusted on half the time. If this don't work, man, I just keep swinging.
I've had a couple of shops just tell me that they're not going to rotate my tires because they couldn't get the tire off.
Really?
But I understand, like Utah, sometimes they get stuck there.
Then these are kind of like makeshift punches. Well, this one's out of it. This is a Klein tool, but this is this is for like a Mini X bucket. So I've used it as like a punch. Just because how long it is, and it's like the right fitment of your hand.
Oh, it's actually the pin out of a Mini X bucket, and you just use it as a punch.
Mm-hmm. Wedges and all different kinds of stuff that I've found or reused or repurposed, that sort of thing. You always see those videos on YouTube of big old pipes and stuff trying to break things free. And we've had that a couple of times, and we actually had a chain wrench one time that it broke and shattered the window of a like semi-truck that was parked next to it. Yeah, that was kind of interesting. It gets a little Western sometimes.
Yeah, if you're breaking chain wrenches, you're doing some stuff.
Yeah. This is kind of just all my air tools and a couple of little Milwaukee tools.
Do you use air a lot in this shop, or are you using mostly battery?
Mostly battery anymore. Battery's definitely been the way to go. The technology behind it has come so far, and the biggest thing that I would use like a die grinder or anything for is like burrs and stuff like that. I like to keep the bits on just because usually when you go to grab it, you don't have to take them off and stuff like that. My coworker has like 4 different sets of like the same die grinders just to keep different attachments on the ends. And then you don't have to sit and mess with them too much, And I have a bunch of different carbide bits. I have the 6-inch. Those are good for getting into faraway spaces. And then small sets. I got the aluminum, which if you don't have aluminum, you definitely need to, or else you'll mess up your normal carbide, or you'll just dip it in ATF and hope for the best. I have a big boost loop test that I just got, trying to get like another half locker and then move my mini fridge over. That way I could put some more molded stuff into it. I want to add like another one of these up here. This one I got off of Facebook Marketplace for $200, and it had the chrome trim, and I just ordered the new trim. This kind of opens the wrong way. But
Oh, the drawers, Sid.
I love DeWalt. That's what I started with here. I was like looking all different types of places, and Napa actually had like a deal where if you bought the 1/2-inch impact, the 3/8 impact, it was like a whole kit for like $500. So it came with 3/8, 1/2-inch, a drill, 2 batteries, and a charger, and I believe a light. So at that time I was like, that's what I'll do. And since then I just kept it DeWalt. I put the torque on like my drill. I've had it for 8 years. I mean, I try and take care of my stuff, and the rubber's missing and stuff, but biggest thing is like take care of your tools and they'll take care of you. Don't just throw them on the ground when you're done, set them down, you know. It's the biggest thing. I have upgraded a couple things like my impacts. This is like one of the newer 1/2-inch impacts. I think this is rated for 1,300 foot-pounds of torque. And then I got the 3/4 just because why not?
I like how these sit in the
actual.
Yeah, they sit perfectly in there too. Yeah, this thing's heavy.
Too bad Jim's not here because he's a DeWalt guy.
Yeah.
And he tries every time. He tries to talk the tool truck guy into switching to DeWalt. He's like, dude, have you tried that DeWalt 3/4 inch?
There's just so many Milwaukee guys out there. That's the bad thing. There's so many people. But I do believe DeWalt makes the best heat gun because it locks on.
Battery powered heat gun.
Battery powered.
Does it eat batteries?
Kind of. I have the 15 amp hour just in case I need that.
That'll run that heat gun for a minute.
Yeah. And when I peel off like decals and wraps and stuff, I need it on for quite a bit. So I usually reach for the 12 amp hour. I've never had an issue with any of my batteries. The only tool I'm not really a huge fan on is the die grinder because it bounces like crazy. It's not like air. That's the one thing that's tough to beat is die grinders. Everything else I love and I use every day. Even the grease gun. I use the grease gun a lot too. Our guys warranty out their Milwaukee grease guns and that one still runs great.
This is definitely the most DeWalt stuff that we've seen so far, but that stuff all just looks really nice, really well taken care of.
This is like my main electrical drawer. I put all my butt connectors and stuff in here. Just try and keep everything organized. And then fuses too. So if I have to go fix like a short somewhere, I just grab this just in case somebody has pinched wire or cut wire. A lot of times it's like semi-truck trailers, that sort of thing where wires get snagged. And my power probe torch, I use that all the time. This is the second one. The last one I had, it fell a good 8 feet and didn't want to work anymore. But
I don't want to work anymore after I fall down.
Yeah. It's kind of like the service drawer. I have all my different filter pliers, filter wrenches in here, and I have some fuel cutoff pliers.
What's the biggest thing you're changing oil on or fuel on?
Just the trucks, but when I started working here, I worked on everything from the cranes, the Manitowoc cranes, 14,000s to the excavators, all different kinds of things. Every once in a while I help service the semis as well. So we have a couple W900s and yeah, those are solid trucks.
I like those trucks.
So that was like one of my original mechanic sets that I bought. It had the 3-drawer Craftsman thing. It came with a bunch of different variety. And so I just kept that, keep everything all organized, that way it's not all over the place. This is probably one of my favorite 1/4-inch tools. So it's got like a screwdriver handle, but it's also an extension. So this I use all the time too, especially taking apart interiors and stuff. This is definitely a go-to. Then I just throw one of these sockets on there. And yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite tools. Yeah, I just put a ratchet, break it free with that, and then just spin it out by hand. I use these a lot on the LB7 Duramaxes at like home. The intake horn has 3 bolts on it. And usually you can't really get them out without those. And so they have a little ball detent in them. When you go put it on a screw or something, it doesn't fall out. So if it's aluminum or titanium or it's not magnetized, then you could keep your bolt or nut without dropping it. And last row over here, I have my Noco jumper pack. That thing's awesome. If you don't have a jumper pack, this is definitely the one to get. 3,000 amp.
We had one at the shop like 3 years ago, and it just got stolen and reused over and over again. So now I think we have like 8 or 9 of them at the shop because everybody wants one.
That's my welding hood. It recently went out. I bought it from Napa 9 years ago. I was doing J-Tech for collision repair. I needed a welding hood for welding like sheet metal. And so it finally went out. after that long, it was 70 bucks. But time to upgrade. Time to get a new one. So,
9 years, that's pretty good.
yeah, for a cheap welding hood you can buy pretty much anywhere. I think it did its purpose. So, and last but not least, we'll check out the locker. I got snap-on scan tool there. I got a TPMS tool. I got more purple stuff. This is a light, so it's hanging up there. I try to write on it, that way it's easier just to grab it out instead of digging through everything, seeing what case is what. It definitely helps writing on the stuff like that. This drawer is pretty much just a bunch of random stuff. Not a whole lot of organization to that. Some more automotive stuff, scrapers, pickle forks, caliper hangers. Some of these I needed to borrow like once, and so I bought one. This is a puller you use for like your wiper arms, and so I needed to borrow one once, so I bought it. Haven't needed to borrow it or use it again. These are like plastic body trim tools. If you're working on an interior of anything, you don't want to use metal because it mars it and then makes it look terrible. So you always want to use your plastic tools on the interior. We actually sent a truck out one time to get lighting done at a place, and it came back with all those marks and scratches all over. We were like, what the heck? And ever since then, I've done the lights here. So
That's how you got your job as a light guy?
yeah, this is another like electrical diag drawer. This is my battery tester. I hook it up to the battery and go through different stuff through it to tell what type of battery, standard, gel, AGM. And then you could test the cold cranking amps with this as well, see if the battery's good or bad. So this is definitely easier than trying to diag battery.
Yeah.
And then I got my multimeter in here, which I use a lot for diag. So this is the short finder here. And what you do is you plug this into one of your different connectors. Like this is for a light. You plug it in there with this, and then you can tell if you're short on your positive or negative side. I mean, it's pretty interesting, and it beeps. I mean, the beeping gets annoying after a while, but biggest thing too is like if you use a power probe, you got to make sure you know what you're doing so you don't backfeed the wrong thing, cause a lot of issues. Pulling batteries out, like a lot of the newer batteries don't have actual handles on them. You just lift up on it and it grabs it.
Does it ever slip?
Not really. It grabs pretty good, actually. And
Just the weight of the battery holds it on there. That's cool.
Exactly.
Like an ice thing. You used to see it back in the... Can't take one thing out without taking all of it out.
So, like I said, how they make things harder and harder to work on anymore. Tight spaces.
Whoa,
This thing,
that's cool.
just to get serpentine belts off, especially on the Duramaxes, this is adjustable. So you can adjust it at a different angle to get better leverage. And these actually lock in too. You press that on the bottom, they don't come out. This is definitely something that's like nice to have that you run into every once in a while, because before that I was using this, and this isn't as nice as that.
Oh yeah.
A little bit longer there, different angles, and that sort of thing too.
So it's worth having just for that slight
Yeah.
case you need it.
Exactly. A couple different things in here too. I forgot about this drawer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like a flywheel holder tool. If you have to spin a flywheel or hold it, it grabs the teeth of the flywheel and holds it in place. And then I have sill puller, which I've already warrantied this one out once before. Sometimes sills are stubborn, don't want to come out. Exhaust hanger, you put that on there and this touches the metal piece of the hanger and pushes it right out. This one I just updated from my Blue Point to the snap-on one. This one you could compress the pistons of your caliper. That way it extracts them all the way in when you put new brake pads in. That way you don't have to use like a C-clamp or anything like that, or use a brake pad in there with a C-clamp. That way it just spreads, it's ratcheting, opens all the way up, and pushes them in. It's way nice. And of course, more purple. I got another sill puller in the purple. And then this is super nice. It's a scraper, but it's adjustable.
Oh, yeah.
So you can adjust the angle of it. That one I've had for probably 3 months, and I've used it probably 4 or 5 times already. Side post batteries. It's always nice to have a 5/16 ratchet, or at least a decently long wrench. That way you're not arcing on stuff.
Is that why it has a cover on it.
So if you're taking like the positive terminal off, yeah.
This is the smallest toolbox we've seen on the channel so far.
Yeah, it's
What
a little Harbor
specialty
Freight.
tools you keep in there?
The mini pliers in purple, 3 different knives, small little pry bar, and then I have the scraper. Trying to keep all my small little purple stuff in here. Gotta have the purple safety glasses to match. Little torch for heat shrink.
There's your 10 right there.
Yeah. This is a koozie actually. So you put like your drink in here, it slides all the way down. You got yourself a koozie. And then
Did
just to get
somebody
it
3D
out.
print that for you?
Yeah, all of my organizers, the guy that actually makes these, made this too. So he 3D printed this and sent this to me, which I thought was way cool.
You got an assortment of flashlights here.
This is the Cyclops by Maxion. I think a lot of people use these. They're pretty bright. They have different settings. And so I recently lost one of these. These are by far the easiest ones to lose, just because they magnetize so well to things.
Walk away from it.
Yeah. I left one underneath the truck last week that I was working on. Probably lost 3 of them, to be honest. That's the tough thing about it. This one's...
Pricey.
No, they're about 40 bucks. So they're really not terrible. This is a Astro light. This one's way bright.
That is bright.
This is my favorite flashlight. This is my go-to everyday flashlight. It's a Olight Baton 3. I actually got it on TikTok shop. I just was gonna try it out and I use it every day. And it's been
I've never
through all
gotten
kinds of
anything
stuff.
off the TikTok shop, but I've been tempted.
This was like the first thing I've ever bought from TikTok shop. And I think it was like 45 bucks at the time I bought it. And I mean, this thing's bright. Clip it to my hat up top, magnetic on the bottom too. You can put it anywhere. I try not to lose it because it's purple. It'd be a bad day for me.
And it charges like that?
Yeah, it's a
That's cool.
magnetic charger. Organizer for your nuts and bolts too. You just stick to whatever you're working on. It has little magnets on the bottom of it. So this isn't a toolbox. This is a Bluetooth speaker.
Oh.
No way.
Yeah.
I honestly was trying to figure out what it was the whole time. I'm
Yeah,
like,
so it's got like little speakers on the sides and then like a big sub in the middle. It's hard to tell.
and then just a little bit of storage up top.
Yeah. Little
That's cool.
snacks.
Kick out some good tunes. Nice.
The other mechanics have their speaker too, so we have little wars back and forth. So, but it does make it look like it's one of those toolboxes. I got the snap-on sign. That changes colors too, but I leave it on purple to match everything. So I've always liked tinkering with stuff. I think it's just kind of in my blood. My dad was a field mechanic for 10 years, and then came here and was a field mechanic for 10 years, and now he's my boss. And so shortly after high school, he was like, if you want, I can get you a part-time job while you go to college. And part-time job turned into full-time. And so I've been here ever since.
Did you finish college?
No.
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 That's usually what happens, honestly.
Yeah.
You get into a job where you can learn some stuff and make more money and whatever, and college isn't really worth all that much to you to go finish if you're gaining knowledge here. Well,
Yeah, the crazy thing about it is when I first started here, it was one other shop guy and one field mechanic at the time. And so I was just filling in, helping either one of them. And it just got to the point where it was so busy. I was working like 65-hour weeks. And so I just stayed with it and eventually became a mechanic instead of just a laborer, and been here since. So
that's cool. How I met John is kind of interesting. Used to work at Diesel Power Gear, as most of you guys know, Sparks Motors. John's mom had entered in one of our giveaways, and it's actually the only truck that I was able to go deliver to somebody because it was so close. When we drew her name, we saw that it was in West Jordan, so we had to go surprise her. So I think we told her that she'd want a set of tires or something, and lo and behold, we had a brand new Duramax for her. Do you guys still have that?
yeah,
Yeah,
I
nice.
still have it.
Is it still wrapped?
Yeah, it's still wrapped. He was thinking of like peeling it off, my dad, because it's starting to fade on one side. He was
Yeah.
like, then it wouldn't be Tron. I was like, yeah, but you kind of need to peel it off. I mean, it still looks good for the most part. It's just like one side sun faded. The rest looks good.
Yeah, that's the one thing about wraps that I don't love is they fade over time. But this truck had a really cool reflective wrap, so when the headlights hit it, you could see all the different things in it.
So I've been here since June of 2017. Like a week after I graduated high school, I've been here. I like variety. I get like a lot of variety now, but like going from like small stuff to the big heavy equipment definitely has its pros. And then it has its cons too. When you get into bigger tools, more money to be spent on that stuff too. So it definitely balances out.
The company you work for mostly use GM products, or
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we have a couple Dodges and we have a couple Fords, but primarily our fleet is GMC. So we kind of change it to stick with the one brand. That way it's all familiar ties to everyone else. And that way it's just simple that way, you know.
I've heard that a couple times. Guys just want to stick to one truck or one brand. That way everything's the same, tools all the same, everything's easy to work on. That way you're not jumping from one thing to another, relearning things all the time. That's cool.
The crazy thing too now is like some of the trucks, they don't have like drain bolts. And so you have to suck the fluid out and then fill it through the fill. I bought that recently. That's a fluid extractor / dispenser pump. I bought it on Amazon. I used it for the first time this morning, actually servicing a transmission. So you connect your air hose here, and then on this side, you connect your tube to fill or to remove fluid. And then you just twist it, dispense or extract. Instead of like a drill pump where it just spins and takes forever, this took like 5 minutes to fill 2.5 gallons of oil.
Pull
in
it
the
right out.
transmission. Yeah, it came with all the adapters. It threaded right into the side of the transmission. I mean, I was like, this is worth the $80 I spent on it. So, I mean, that's the thing that I'm trying to get more of, is like the other specialty tools that, you know, you're gonna have to have because the manufacturers change things like that. So, and if I don't buy them, then I'll try and make them myself. So the box itself, probably 13 to 15. So nothing too crazy. And the nice thing is when I ordered it at the tool show, so I got a better price and didn't have a bunch of add-ons. At the end of the day, I would buy something you can grow into. I mean, if you have like a smaller toolbox and you're gonna be doing this as a career, as a profession, you love doing it, always go a little bit bigger than what you think. Overall, I've probably spent somewhere like 80,000 in tools and everything.
You're into this almost $100,000?
Probably.
Holy cow. You got more money sitting right here than I have spent on all of my stuff, cars included. But these guys, they work with this stuff. They couldn't do their job without it. So the $100,000 that they've invested in this is really an investment. And like he's saying, like these tools last forever and they're warranted. So once you get to the point where you have them. You can always make a living with them. And as far as the knowledge and the tools go, it just comes down to your own willpower on getting the job done at that point. Yeah, thanks John for the tool tour. Like I said, if you are on TikTok, YouTube, or Instagram, he has a channel on each one of them. I've included them in the description below. He's always talking about his tools, always talking about his toolbox. Basically walked you through the steps of collecting all of this. So go give him a follow and stay tuned to the next one.